live in a world that tells us happiness is just one more achievement away. If you can get that promotion, buy that car, gain that recognition, then finally you'll feel complete. But here's the truth most people discover too late. Every earthly thing that shines will eventually lose its glow. The job you once dreamed about becomes routine. The car that made you proud starts to rust. The applause that filled you with energy fades into silence. That's because everything temporary was never meant to give you permanent fulfillment. You can chase success your whole life and still feel a quiet emptiness inside because you're trying to feed an eternal hunger with things that don't last. We've all been there, working harder, pushing further, telling ourselves just one more thing and I'll be satisfied. But every time we get that thing, we find it's never enough. The excitement fades and the longing returns. Why? Because what fades can never fill what was made for eternity. Deep down, our souls crave something stable, something permanent, something beyond the limits of time. We were made to be connected to the eternal. And when we substitute that connection for temporary pleasure, it's like drinking salt water. Our thirst only grows stronger. You can't build lasting joy on temporary foundations. The moment you depend on what's changing to define your peace, you've already signed up for disappointment. People change, seasons change, circumstances shift. And if your sense of meaning moves every time life does, then you'll live exhausted, always running after stability that never comes. The key to a life that feels full is to attach your worth, your identity, and your hope to what cannot be taken away. It's easy to think that meaning comes from what you can see and touch, but real fulfillment begins with what's unseen. The invisible values of love, faith, compassion, integrity. These are the treasures that time cannot erase. When you focus on these eternal things, you find peace even when life doesn't go your way. You learn to measure success, not by how much you've gathered, but by how deeply you've grown. You begin to realize that it's not about how high you climb, but how firmly your heart is anchored. Temporary things are like shadows. They change with the light. But what's eternal stays steady through every storm. When your peace is built on possessions, you'll lose it when they're gone. When your identity depends on people, you'll break when they leave. But when your foundation is rooted in what never fades, truth, love, purpose, then even when life shakes, you stand firm. You stop chasing happiness like it's a finish line, and you start living from a place of quiet confidence. Sometimes life has to strip away what's temporary before we can see what truly matters. The disappointments we face often reveal where we've placed our trust. Every heartbreak, every loss, every failure is an invitation to realign, to stop trying to find meaning in what can vanish overnight. Because when you lose what's temporary, it's not the end of meaning. It's the beginning of clarity. So the next time you feel that emptiness creeping in, pause. Ask yourself, am I feeding my soul with what lasts or what fades? Am I chasing the next thrill or building something eternal? The world will keep selling you temporary fixes, but deep inside, you already know that what you truly need can't be bought, earned, or owned. It must be found within, in connection with what transcends time. And when you anchor your life there, you won't just live happier, you'll live whole. Because meaning that lasts can only come from the one who lasts forever. You were not born by accident. You didn't just appear on this earth by chance or coincidence. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every gift and flaw, every dream and desire, none of it is random. You were created with divine intention. There is purpose stitched into the very fabric of your being. Long before you took your first step, purpose was written into your story. The world might treat you like a number, a face in the crowd, but in the eyes of the one who made you, you are a masterpiece. Many people spend their lives trying to prove their worth because they don't know they already have it. They chase titles, validation, and applause, thinking that meaning must be earned. But purpose isn't something you achieve. It's something you uncover. It's already there, waiting to be discovered. You were formed for significance, not survival. You were made to reflect something bigger than yourself. Every skill, every passion, every challenge you face is part of that grand design. When you understand that your existence is intentional, you begin to live differently. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what was I made for? Every part of your life, even the parts that don't make sense, is connected to that divine plan. The pain that broke you, the detour that delayed you, the door that closed, all of it is working together to shape you for your purpose. What looks like chaos to you is often preparation in disguise. The same hands that shaped the stars shaped your story. When you trust that truth, you stop fighting every challenge and start learning from it. Purpose doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it's revealed through struggle. It's through those moments that you begin to see how deeply intentional your journey really is. You were created to make an impact, not just an impression. The world measures worth by how much you achieve. Divine purpose measures worth by how much you give. When you live out your purpose, your presence becomes powerful. You bring light into dark places, peace into chaos, love into emptiness. You don't have to be famous to be impactful. You just have to be faithful. Because when you operate within the reason you were created, even the smallest actions echo in eternity. Too many people live disconnected from that truth. They wander through life feeling empty, not because they lack success, but because they lack direction. They wake up, go to work, go home, repeat. And somewhere in that rhythm, they lose the sense of why they're here. That's what happens when you forget divine intention. Life becomes about motion instead of meaning, activity instead of purpose. But when you rediscover why you were made, everything ordinary becomes sacred. Your work becomes service, your relationships become ministry, and your days become chapters of something eternal. You were created to reflect love, truth, and hope, to mirror divine character in human form. That's why no amount of money, power, or popularity can replace the feeling of living with purpose. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. When you start aligning your life with the reason you were created, confusion turns into clarity. You stop asking life to give you meaning and start giving meaning to life. So the next time you doubt your worth, remember this: your life isn't random. You were chosen, designed, and placed here on purpose for a purpose. Your existence was not a mistake. It's a message. The question is, will you live like you believe it? Because when you do, every breath becomes a declaration that your life is not just happening. It's unfolding exactly as it was meant to. Fulfillment is something everyone is chasing, yet so few people truly find. Most people think that if they can achieve enough, earn enough, or accomplish enough, they'll finally feel complete. But the truth is, real meaning doesn't come from achievement. It comes from alignment. You can be at the top of your game, admired and respected, and still feel a quiet emptiness inside. That's because success without alignment is motion without direction. You might be busy, but you're not becoming who you were meant to be. So many of us spend our lives climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. We work harder and harder to reach goals that don't feed our souls. We chase titles, relationships, and recognition, thinking they'll fill the void. But when we finally get them, something still feels off. It's because achievement alone can't give purpose. It can only give proof. And proof fades as quickly as it comes. The moment the applause dies down, the silence returns, and you start wondering if all the effort was worth it. Alignment, on the other hand, brings peace that no accomplishment can match. It means your values, actions, and intentions are walking in the same direction. It's when your heart, your faith, and your daily choices are moving together, not fighting each other. You can have less by the world's standards and still have more in your soul because you're living from purpose, not pressure. That's what happens when you're aligned with the truth of why you were created. When your life is out of alignment, you can feel it. You feel tired, restless, unsatisfied, even when everything looks right from the outside. That's your spirit trying to tell you that something is off. You might be doing good things, but they're not your things, the things that were meant for you. Alignment doesn't always mean doing more. Sometimes it means doing less of what drains you and more of what feeds you. It means making choices that honor who you are at your core. You can spend years trying to fit into a life that was never meant for you. You can build an identity around achievements that impress people but leave your soul empty. But the moment you stop striving for recognition and start seeking direction, everything shifts. You begin to feel grounded, even when life gets hard, because you know you're walking on the right path. That's the power of alignment. It brings clarity in confusion and peace in pressure. When your goals and God's design point in the same direction, You stop feeling like you're pushing against life. Doors begin to open, not because of luck, but because you're finally walking with purpose. The right opportunities begin to find you because you're moving in rhythm with what was meant for you all along. That's when fulfillment becomes natural. You don't have to chase it. It starts to flow through everything you do. Alignment doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes meaningful. You still face challenges, but they no longer break you because you know they're shaping you for something greater. You understand that every step, even the painful ones, is taking you closer to who you're meant to be. You stop comparing your path to someone else's because you realize your assignment is unique. So, if you find yourself tired from chasing more success, more approval, more of everything, maybe it's time to stop running and start aligning. Ask yourself if the life you're building is really the one you're meant to live. Because fulfillment isn't about how much you've achieved. It's about how true you've been to your purpose. The moment you choose alignment over achievement, you'll discover something far better than success. You'll find peace that lasts, direction that's clear, and a life that finally feels like it fits. When your life connects to a purpose bigger than yourself, even the smallest moments begin to shine with meaning. What once felt ordinary becomes sacred. The routines that used to feel empty start to carry weight, and the places that seemed unimportant begin to hold value. That's the power of living with eternal purpose. It transforms everything it touches. You no longer see your life as a series of random events, but as a carefully designed story where every chapter, even the difficult ones, is leading somewhere intentional. So many people divide their lives into spiritual and ordinary. They think that purpose is only found in the big moments, the achievements, the spotlight, the milestones. But the truth is, purpose is not limited to platforms or special events. Purpose lives in how you show up every day. It's in the way you speak to others, how you handle your responsibilities, how you treat people when no one's watching, when you live from an eternal perspective. Even washing dishes, raising children, or working behind the scenes becomes meaningful. Because what matters is not what you do, but why you do it. Eternal purpose gives your actions direction. It means you stop measuring success by how impressive something looks and start measuring it by how much love and truth it carries. A life of purpose is not about performance. It's about presence. It's about being fully aware that everything you do can echo into eternity. When you love someone selflessly, when you forgive when it's hard, when you choose integrity over convenience, you're doing something that lasts far longer than you'll ever see. Living with eternal purpose also changes how you view struggle. When life gets hard, you don't automatically assume something is wrong. Instead, you understand that even difficulty can serve destiny. The pain you go through might be the soil where growth happens. The waiting seasons, the disappointments, the moments of uncertainty, they are shaping your character and preparing you for what's ahead. You begin to realize that your purpose isn't on pause when you're in pain. It's being refined through it. When you live this way, gratitude becomes natural. You stop rushing through life and start recognizing the beauty in the small things. You begin to notice how each moment is a chance to serve, to love, to grow, and to reflect something divine. You no longer see your work as meaningless, your relationships as random, or your hardships as wasted. Everything becomes part of a larger tapestry that's being woven by hands wiser than yours. And that awareness fills your life with peace, not because everything is perfect, but because everything has purpose. When your focus is eternal, it changes your priorities. You start living for applause and start living for impact. You stop trying to collect things and start trying to change things. You stop chasing comfort and start pursuing character. You realize that your time, your talents, your words, they all have power, and they can all be used to make a difference that outlives you. That's what makes ordinary moments extraordinary. They become opportunities to touch eternity. At the end of the day, purpose is not about how big your life looks, but how deeply it reaches. It's not about doing something the world calls great. It's about being faithful in the small things that matter most. When you approach life with that mindset, you find joy in places you never noticed before. You see, that meaning doesn't just live in mountaintops. It lives in the valley too. Every act of kindness, every word of truth, every moment of love, they all become threads in the fabric of a life that points beyond itself. That's how eternal purpose transforms the ordinary, by turning every moment into a chance to leave a mark that time can't erase. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that no matter how much they plan, push, and fight for control, some things simply refuse to bend to their will. We live in a world that teaches us to take charge, to make our own way, to define our own destiny. But the deeper truth is that meaning isn't found through control. It's found through surrender. You can spend your whole life trying to build significance with your own hands, but until you let go and allow purpose to guide you instead of pride, you'll always feel the strain of trying to hold up a world that isn't yours to carry. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving over. It's the act of trusting something greater than yourself with the direction of your life. It's realizing that your strength, as powerful as it may be, has limits, but the source of your purpose doesn't. When you stop trying to force everything into your own plan, you make room for the divine plan to unfold. And that plan often leads you places far more meaningful than anything you could have designed on your own. Too often, people believe that control equals safety. They think that if they can manage every detail, they can prevent pain or failure. But in trying to protect themselves, they end up building walls that keep out the very blessings they need. Control is exhausting because it demands constant vigilance. Surrender brings peace because it allows trust to take the wheel. The moment you realize you don't have to know every answer or predict every outcome, your soul begins to rest. You start to see that life's detours and delays are not punishments but preparations. When you live surrendered, you stop resisting growth. You stop fighting against the seasons that stretch you, and instead you begin to learn from them. Every disappointment becomes a teacher. Every delay becomes an opportunity for patience. Every closed door becomes protection. Surrender transforms frustration into faith, not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because you finally understand that there's purpose even in what you don't understand. Surrender is also where pride dies and peace begins. It's hard to admit that you can't fix everything, that you don't have all the answers, that sometimes you're not in control. But that humility is the doorway to transformation. When you stop demanding that life move according to your will and start trusting that it's unfolding according to divine wisdom, you experience freedom like never before. You stop striving to be the author and start embracing your role as a participant in a story far bigger than your own. It's in surrender that your true strength emerges. Because when you're no longer burdened by the illusion of control, you have energy to live with courage, compassion, and clarity. You start seeing life not as something to conquer, but as something to contribute to. You begin to live open-handed, ready to receive, ready to release, ready to follow where peace leads. And in that posture, meaning starts to fill the empty spaces where fear once lived. The search for meaning always ends where surrender begins. When you release your grip on how things should be, you make space for how they're meant to be. You discover that the peace you were chasing doesn't come from everything going right. It comes from knowing you're right where you're supposed to be. The beauty of surrender is that it doesn't remove uncertainty, but it removes anxiety. It allows you to move forward not with fear, but with faith. So when life feels out of control, maybe it's not falling apart. Maybe it's falling into place. When you stop trying to write your own meaning and instead live the one already written for you, you discover something no achievement could ever offer: rest for your soul. And that rest, that peace, that quiet confidence, that's the kind of meaning that truly lasts. At the end of every journey, there comes a moment when you look back and realize that all the things you once thought mattered most, money, possession, status, titles, were never the true measure of your life. What lasts is not what you built with your hands, but what you built with your heart. A life that leaves an eternal mark is one that goes beyond achievement and enters the realm of impact. It's a life that touches others in ways that ripple long after you're gone. That's what it means to live with meaning that lasts. To know that your days didn't just pass, they planted. Every choice you make, every word you speak, every act of kindness or courage carries weight beyond the moment. You are writing your legacy in real time, even in the smallest decisions. The way you treat people, how you handle adversity, how you respond to love and loss. These are the brushstrokes that paint the picture of your life. And when all is said and done, that picture will either fade with time or echo into eternity. The difference lies in whether you lived for yourself or for something greater than yourself. A lasting life isn't built on comfort or convenience. It's built on conviction. It's choosing integrity when dishonesty is easier, choosing compassion when bitterness feels justified, choosing generosity when fear tells you to hold back. These are the moments that define you. The world might never see them, but heaven does. The quiet strength you show in private often creates the loudest legacy in public. What lasts is not the noise of your success, but the fragrance of your character. Living a life that leaves an eternal mark means understanding that you are a steward, not an owner. Everything you have, your time, your talents, your resources, is a tool for something larger than you. When you use what's in your hands to lift someone else, you multiply meaning. You begin to understand that greatness isn't about how high you rise, but how many you lift as you climb. It's about leaving people better than you found them. That's how your life begins to echo through the kindness you sow and the hope you share. There's a deep peace that comes from knowing your life is not wasted on trivial things. When your focus shifts from success to significance, everything changes. Work becomes worship, relationships become ministry, and even suffering becomes seed. You realize that every sacrifice made out of love, every moment of patience, every act of forgiveness builds something that time can't destroy. Meaning that lasts is built through consistency in small things, not just passion in big ones. As you move through life, storms will come. You'll lose people, opportunities, and seasons that once defined you. But if your purpose is rooted in what's eternal, those losses won't erase your legacy. They'll refine it. You'll learn that true success is not about how much you gathered, but how much you gave. It's not about being remembered for your accomplishments, but for your compassion. When you live that way, even your absence continues to speak. So live with intention, speak with love, give with an open heart, forgive freely. Stand for what's right, even when it costs you. Because one day, when the noise of this world fades, what will remain is not your reputation, but your reflection. What your life said about who you were and who you served. That reflection, that echo of goodness, truth, and love, that's your eternal mark. That's the meaning that can't be erased by time or death. And when you reach the end of your journey, you'll find peace in knowing you didn't just live a life, you lived a legacy.